I'm cool with it already. 3, 2, 1.
Whoosh.
Hello and welcome back to the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. We are here today to talk about the Matrix series. It is nothing and it's everything at the same time. The Matrix. We're talking about all 4 of the Matrix films. So if you have not seen The Matrix Resurrections yet, it just recently came out, then spoiler warning, you might not want to watch this video because we will be talking about it towards the end. But we will be covering all 4 of them and discussing how bad it was or how good this film was, giving each of the 4 about 10 to 15 minutes or so. So we're going to start with The Matrix 1, the classic. This movie is freaking great. There's almost zero flaws in it. You can watch it over and over.
Correct.
And it's pretty dang timeless. At least, we haven't reached the peak of technology where it is that's so outdated. So it's pretty fun to watch as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, it holds up fairly well. Some of the CGI is a little meh.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what do you expect for a movie that came out in, 2004?
2000, yeah. Pretty old.
So...
I think 99, 2000, I think.
The CGI still holds up fairly decently. It's still, it is a little meh overall as far as CGI goes.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's also just kind of up to today's standards. Yep. But... the movie itself is fantastic.
Yep.
I could see them doing a 4K resolution upgrade to it and just redoing CGI.
Yeah.
And it would be great.
Even better.
Or
if
mini
info. Sorry. Mini info. The movie came out in 99.
99. Okay, good to know.
I mean,
that's old.
Pre-2000s.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen the gameplay trailers of the Matrix video game. Freaking looks amazing. All the CGI looks like real life people.
Oh wow.
They're using the Unreal Engine 5.
Wow.
It looks great. And if they kind of figured out how to do that and just rework it over
the old movies,
it would be great.
Crazy. I'd love to see it. That'd be great. Anything you want to add to top that off?
Well, of course. Well, basically, this movie was, growing up in the 90s, we were watching this movie. The action, the bullet time. Everyone, even as kids, growing up, we were doing the Matrix dodge. We were doing the Neo. We were doing the dodge. We were doing the bullet stop and all that. It was great. It was fun. Great movie. Great movie for the original one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think even when somebody just dodges something, somebody's like, "Did you see me Matrix that?"
Yeah.
It's still
it's it's a reference. Yeah.
A little story time. I remember we would have these you guys remember those bubble wraps, the ones with the circle that had the little lid.
Yeah.
We would throw each other at them. We would just do Matrix dodge every time, just for the hell of it.
That's funny.
Oh
yeah, it's like I said, it's a timeless classic. Basically, and
it's a great story introduction as well. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's a great story introduction. This is what the real world could be, and this is what you're in.
Yeah, and it the thing that's great about the first is watching just that after having some space. I haven't seen the second or third in a very long time, so I've rewatched the first a handful of times since then, but going back into the first one just by its self is always oh man, what if I'm plugged in right now? And so you get that weird headspace that you get in every single time you watch it, and you're oh man, what if they've just been giving me the blue pills? It's pretty trippy, and it you get to have a lot of fun conversations about the theory, is Neo actually the one? Is it Smith? Is it? So that's always good stuff. and then the second and the third kind of branch out and show the bigger real
The bigger
world,
picture.
and then you kind of like go, whoa, what the fuck, this kind of shit. So yeah, I don't know if there's much else to add about the first one.
Favorite moments in the first movie,
yeah.
if you have to remember.
Favorite moments. Classic on the top of the building helicopter scene, and that whole sequence there is just great.
So I actually think it's kind of funny because, like, in that scene, like, he saves Morpheus, of course, right?
Yeah.
And he, like, jumps out of the helicopter. He grabs the like ripcord, whatever it is. I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But, like, he, like, grabs it and, like, whips it around his arm, and just by doing that, like, freaking Morpheus is like, he's the one. Like,
yeah, that's pretty funny, actually.
All right.
Like, he's not gonna, like, lift the helicopter up. Like, it's not like he's, like, pulling the helicopter. He's doing it because he's got faith in Trinity to, like, go and grab this shit thing and like shoot it, like, and do exactly what she does.
Yeah.
So he can save her. He's got faith in her doing that.
Yep.
It's not like he's gonna just, like, make the helicopter turn into zero weight and, like, stop the helicopter from falling.
Yeah. No.
Like that, like, rewatching that scene, I was like, huh. Like,
yeah.
like some of the
that,
one of the jumps, like some of the jumps in logic, and, like, he's the one is just, like, really funny.
Morpheus just always is. He just has weird amounts of faith.
Yeah.
You could chalk it up to that, but that is actually a weird placement of that line now that I think about it. Because it's like,
I mean, anybody could have really done that. Like, Morpheus could have. Well, I guess that kind of goes into the fourth movie, that one line that Smith says. We'll talk about it later.
Yes.
But, like, it kind of goes into that line where anyone could be. But
the one.
Or the one.
It's so, like, anybody could have done that. Like, Morpheus could have done that. Trinity could have done that to save Neo. Like, just in general.
Yeah.
But they made it like a big like
deal.
a big deal, and it was just funny to me, like, going back and watching it.
Like, wait a second, they could have done that. Yeah.
The logics, the plot holes, and all that.
That's okay. Also, one of the other really good scenes, in my opinion, is all the stuff with the Oracle in the first one. Where she tells him, hey, you're not the one, and, like, it tricks his mind into being like, oh, well, like, I'm just some guy, until he, like...
It took the, like, it's like the psychology thing where it takes the pressure off of you.
It's like
So he's like, I'm not the one, like...
It's like the same sort of thing that's my favorite moment in, like, Kung Fu Panda, where he, like, reads the scroll, and it's just a reflection of himself. And he's like, wait, what? There's nothing here. He's like, it's because it's just you. And it's like, yeah, that's what you would need to hear in that sort of a situation. Yeah. Psychologically, to be like, look, I can just be me and do what I need to do.
Exactly.
And it plays out perfectly. So, yeah. The spoon bending. And how that translates. Everything in what I love so much about the first is everything, like, translates down the road. Like, all the little lessons. Yeah.
The scene where they go through the metal detector, all casually as well, into the building.
I think that's probably, like, my favorite scene is, like, that fight scene.
That's a pretty dang intense scene.
It's probably one of the best scenes.
Yeah, it probably is.
Because the rest of the scenes, they're all just good scenes. Like, it's just because it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was well thought out. Like, all the scenes were needed. There wasn't really a pointless scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, you might be able to argue that the scene where he's, like, eating the steak and, like, some of the things that he says in that scene are, like, not needed, but, like,
it adds to, like, you wouldn't understand his motivations as well.
No, you wouldn't understand his motivations as well, but, like, you could argue, like, that scene is maybe not necessary.
Yeah.
but like most, like pretty much the whole movie is well cut.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any form of like bad
fluff. There's nothing that's really fluff other than that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, some of the background, like rewatching the movie, like when you like watch it a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th time, like some of the world building isn't quite needed, but
yeah,
it's needed for the first time watch.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah. So it's like it's there because it's like filler for the viewer, but then after you've understood the world and you've seen it, it's like, oh, why is that there? But it serves like a purpose ultimately the first time through. So if you don't have it in there, then the rest of it doesn't really make sense. You know. Anything else about the first Matrix film?
No, overall great starting film. You know, the pretty much just like one of the first ones that goes like into all this, you know, real world, what's real, what's not, you know, slow time, you know, bullet time, and all that stuff. You know, not many movies were doing that at the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, did it have ray tracing or not yet?
Ray tracing?
No.
It's how they like, you know, make sure that everything looks great in like video games and stuff.
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I was thinking that it might have been like the first movie to really utilize something like that. But like, yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe they like brought the concept in, and it wasn't quite perfected yet.
Yeah, that would make sense. Do we want to give it like a score on our usual scale, 0 to 5?
I think we probably should. 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Sorry. 1 to 5.
Yeah. 1 to 5.
I'll go last if you guys want to go.
Yeah. Dylan, go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. A great film.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
I'm with you on that one as well. Growing up with that movie, I give it a 4. It was such a great first movie to watch. Yeah.
Dang. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think I think it's our first ever Ultra Film ranking ever for any project ever we've done.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of this first movie, and so I think it'll always get a 5 from me. So
5. Ding ding ding.
I like the concept, and it's well executed. Almost, you could say almost perfectly. So.
As far as like first movies goes, it's one of the best first movies.
Yeah,
it is.
All right, well, let's jump over to The Matrix 2. Now, in this one, obviously, the events of The Matrix 1 have happened. Neo's out. He's defeated Smith, or so it seems. He's, for the first time. It looked like he killed him, but then he's back. I don't know how much we want to talk necessarily about the plot in particular, but mostly that they return to Zion to stop a war from the machines, and Neo is struggling to figure out what his role in this is as the One, now that he sort of has filled that role in his mind. And he's trying to understand where he has to go, what he has to do to save Zion and humanity. And so that's the whole premise.
I think his biggest thing that he's like it struggles in the movie, like it's hard to grasp what he's trying to work with in the movie and make a successful movie.
Yeah.
Because in the Matrix, he's Superman.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like
he's indestructible. He can do anything.
And then once he goes to Zion, he's just a normal guy. Like we figure out later, he's not just a normal guy, but like in Zion, when he's there, like he's like, I don't have any powers. I don't know anything about what you guys are doing. Like you're gonna have to teach me all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why are we having an orgy in the middle of a dance floor? Like,
yeah. No, it's definitely a big change of pace from the first one. And the second one you can almost kind of view as like a big old setup movie, even if you want to put it that way, where it's just.
I mean, it would work as a setup movie if the third one wasn't
a very terrible conclusion.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
It's supposed to set up these big ideas of the binary stuff between Smith and it's supposed to like further pin them against each other, and it's supposed to show Neo's like humanity within him being this organism that was grown by robots. Even in is it human? Is it what is he? Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. And they don't even drive it home very well, like they said.
They don't,
and they don't finish it well in the third. So it's just kind of hard to switch from like this is all a virtual reality simulation. You have to learn how to control yourself in here. To now, we have this like very real threat in the real world that you can't do anything about, so you're screwed. And they end up resorting to, obviously it's his destiny ultimately to be this powerful being outside of the Matrix as well, for whatever reason you want to theorize how he gets that power or where that comes from. Like he has powers outside of the Matrix now, and so he's able to control machines, and it's kind of crazy. And so it's this change of pace from like learning and understanding about the world and then ultimately becoming the master of it to like hey, you're now in real life and like you're screwed, but wait, you still somehow you have powers. So yeah, I think that's I don't think that anybody could do it well necessarily. Also, one of the more confusing plot elements of this whole second movie and third movie is the existence of the Merovingian, and I understand like why he's there and like his role as like a character, but like I don't think they show him like powerful as he should be or could be. It's so he just feels kind of like weirdly inserted in there, and you're like, why is he here? Especially like in Resurrections, in the fourth one, you're like, what the I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't even understand what he was saying half the time in that little speech that he gave in the fourth. I was just kind of like, what is happening? Like everybody's fighting, there's lots of music, and then he's just screaming in the background, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why are you here? You're dead practically. Like, why? So he's just there as like this chess piece to continue to like play mind games with Neo, and like it makes sense, and it like sort of like builds on that theme of like the binary system, and then you get introduced to Sati as well, and so like he's there, he has his role, he's controlling certain aspects like he's supposed to in the Matrix, but it's also like it just feels weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite scenes?
Scenes.
I think everybody's probably gonna have the same one.
Yeah.
Where first opening, well, pretty much opening scene of them on the highway.
Yeah.
Them on the highway. The highway scenes, pretty much in general.
Chase. Yeah, highway chase is really good. I really, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like, I mean, I obviously rated the first one as an ultra film. I don't know if it's just that I like the lore and stuff behind it, but like I really enjoy the scene in the room with the cameras with the architect.
I guess.
Because that's like trippy.
And
he's like seeing past versions of himself, choosing to go back through and back to the source to reset everything.
Yeah.
And so that whole scene where he's like trying to figure it out and like he's like actively like trying to figure out what was the Oracle saying to me about this choice, and what Like, do I have it and stuff like that? That's all interesting to me. So that was probably my favorite.
I think another really good one that could have been better is the final scene of the movie where he like EMPs the squids.
Yes.
Like that could have been better if it was executed better in the third movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that it was like a weird.
He's like, wait, I can feel them.
Yeah.
And like, you like are like, oh shit, he's like the one outside of the Matrix, and then he like uses an EMP essentially, and stops them, and then like
goes out himself.
Yeah. And it's like, I guess that kind of brings in the like the idea of like, are they just all cyborgs essentially? I guess.
Yeah. Well, the fourth movie even brings it. I guess where we can do most of the conversation about that theory is at the fourth one, where now they're bringing programs outside of the Matrix as well. Yeah. And was Neo as the one a program this entire time, and still maybe is. There's a good, that's like, something that's interesting, a real possibility nowadays.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We can talk more about it when we get to the fourth.
Yeah.
Still got absolutely. The third. We need to rate this second.
Yes, we do.
Before we do that, let me just give my favorite scene was obviously the highway scene, all the fight scenes that they were doing in the movie.
Yeah.
Also, honorable mention, I also was a fan of the two twins. The two twins that were the ghosts. I love them, bro. Those two guys are awesome. They're just like, I'm getting annoyed here, like, you know.
Yeah, they're kind of scary.
They showed no emotion, but they just kept it good, like, fine.
Oh yeah.
I kind of wish they would have came back.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they did not.
Okay, rough. No, they were pretty intimidating, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, ratings for the second Matrix.
This movie came out in 2003.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of years after that. I'll give it a 3. I'll be fair. Okay. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah. I'm like right on the edge. Right around there. I
want to give it a 4, but I feel like a 3 is just a safe bet.
I'm sitting between 2 and 3.
That's exactly where I'm at. Where it's like it's maybe not good enough to be a 3, but it's not bad enough to be a 2.
Just a 2. Yeah, it's like right in between for me too. Where it's like it's watchable and it's like semi-enjoyable for pieces of the movie, but then there are also a lot of pieces of the movie that you just sit there and go, huh?
I think I'm gonna give it a 3 because I know number 3 is a 2.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
So it's like,
yep.
Yeah, I guess I would give it a 2.5, 3. Still.
Okay, so add all that up, it's a 3.
Yeah.
Let's give it.
Yep.
Okay.
Alrighty.
On to number 3.
The Matrix 3 Revolution.
Which, oddly enough, came out the same year as The Matrix 2.
It did.
It did.
What? I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, it released the same year.
So they just shot all.
One was at the start of the year, one was at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why they're so bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because they filmed it at the same time and split up the movie into 2 different movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
that's why.
It's like at least Harry Potter was smart enough to know that there needed to be 2 Deathly Hallows, and they split it up way ahead of time.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, this is part 1. Here, we're gonna give you part 2 in next year. So here.
Well, I mean, they
also
filmed them at the same time. It's just
Gosh, dude. Okay, well, I didn't know that. Good to know. So those were both in 2003, you said?
Yeah.
Yep. How old were you at that time, Evan?
2003, I was 6 years old. Well, I was probably 5 for the first one and then 6 for the second, depending on when they came out.
I mean, like I said, one was start of the year, one was end of the year. Like I think it was like March and then November or something like that.
Okay, then I was still only 5 for both. Jeez. Well, Matrix 3, we start in the hospital bed where Neo's been knocked out because he
EMP'd himself.
EMP'd himself.
Yes, he did.
And we also, I think in the beginning, Smith is already
A human
body, right?
Yeah, by the end of two, he took over. He killed everyone on that ship, and now he's he's on his way to
They don't
find Neo.
They don't show that at the end of 2 though. They just show Neo EMP him and then he passes out, right? And then like
No, they do show Smith
show
him, in his human form. Towards the end of 2.
They do that little pan out where like Neo's like in the bed and like talking.
Oh
to
yeah,
Trinity,
yeah.
And then they pan out and then you see the body Smith took over. Okay, I didn't remember if that happened in 2 or if it was 3.
No, that was 2. They showed,
Okay.
there was another survivor, and then up there he is, Smith.
They were like, oh, there's one survivor from the ship. Yeah, okay, that's right. So we get again this duality between Neo and Smith, and what that all means. And now that Smith has taken a human form, this whole theory between who's the one and who can control the Matrix, willingly, is kind of up in the air because both of them seemingly can. And Smith seems just like ultra powerful. Like he, as a program, as an agent, whatever you want to call him, he has made his way out of the Matrix by his own, his own will, pretty much. He literally took that phone call. That's right. He took that phone call at the end of 2, and now he's a human form, Smith. So we get this crisis happening on Zion, ever approaching, and so this whole build-up that's happened is leading to this war that's going to happen at Zion, either the destruction of it or the saving of it by Neo, and that he has to be the one to do it, and that there's obviously going to be a lot of hardship on the way there. I don't even know how to describe the rest of this movie. Basically, it's a lot of conflict between Morpheus and the captain, and then they're fighting about what to do and why, and then Neo goes, hey yo, I want to take this ship to go. It's like that's really a majority of like the movie is like them fighting about stuff, and then a lot of like personal interactions between all the other minor characters, and until Neo ultimately decides, look, I need to go do this, and takes one of the ships, takes what's her name, Makari's ship. Is that the name of the other?
Like, I don't know, like I still feel like not to cut you off, but like
go for it.
When I was young, I wanted to see like this like Terminator style like war between like the robots and the humans. Like, in like what was current Earth. Like I wanted to see that. Yeah. Like I wanted to see them like shooting off like nukes at each other. Like I mean it's not gonna be nukes, but like like doing all these like this big war, and then all conflict is resolution through the Matrix.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like
well, I think that's one thing that would have been a much more satisfying ending. Obviously, there's plenty of ways that have been written already and spoken about of how this ending could have gone better. A real world interaction between Smith as like this sentient program, even if it's not that human form that Neo took out, if it's like a program, like just like an artificial body that he's created as Smith in the real world that has all the same powers as in the Matrix, versus a Neo in the real world with the same powers, like that would have been insane to see, because like that's the climax you want to hit. Like instead of the altercation on like the ship where Neo loses his eyes, I think that's a really good metaphor overall. But instead of that, if like they have like Smith go to I don't know. They could. They go back to Zion altogether instead for whatever reason, you know. And Neo fights Smith there because Smith is going there to like destroy the last of the humans himself. He wants to do it by himself for some reason. Like they have their fight there. That'd be crazy. Or if like Smith doesn't show himself till they get to the Machine City, and like Neo thinks he's there to do whatever he's gonna do, and then Smith comes out of nowhere, and then they start a fight. Like that's way better instead of them getting, I don't know, that's just my opinion, being in the Matrix and having the one Smith fight Neo in front of all the other Smiths, and then he just goes reverse flash style, and then I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not the writer.
There was a lot of things for them to execute well in this type of movie. Obviously, you know, the at least my personal favorite thing was, you know, Smith and Neo fighting at least one more time before the big thing. And of course, you know, Smith has his own little mini army. He's been like, you know, he's pretty much just been absorbing everyone, saying, "Here, I'm gonna take over your body.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take over you. You're gonna become one of mine." You know.
Yeah.
He goes pretty much power hunger and all that. Obviously, the war with Zion and the machines, you know, them just attacking them and all that. You know, it was pretty much all over the place, but still, it was like a decent amount. You know, a little bit of action, a little bit of story time here and there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think also like what sucks is like the hero loses. Neo loses. Trinity loses. Trinity dies.
Yep.
Spoilers. Just kidding.
Spoilers.
Number 4, come on, man.
Oh.
Hey, spoilers.
No. Anyways, no, but it sucks that like you watch Trinity die in the way she does, and you're like, no, she's dead. After watching the impact, you see her get thrown back, and you're like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, she like literally gets impaled.
And, yeah,
like,
you watch it happen live, and Neo's obviously blind, so he can't see it, but he gets there, and he goes, ah, man. And Neo basically has to sacrifice himself and make that decision, you know, metaphorically, to return to the source that choice he was given in the second, where he chose, you know, not to go back to the source. And so he goes back to the source anyways, to a Machine City, and he goes, look, you can't stop Smith. I know it, you know it. Let's just end this. And then he puts up a pretty good fight. But then ultimately he just knows, like, hey, I have to sacrifice myself. But he can't, like, walk in there and just be like, all right, Smith, you can have me. Because, like, Smith would be like, okay, that's weird. Why are you just giving up? He had to make Smith, like, think he won when he lost. Which is a good element to it. But the execution overall and seeing the heroes lose like that sucks. So, I mean, that's a smaller piece of why the execution was not good. I mean,
and that ending, yeah, with them just saying, "Oh, I believe," all this other stuff, like,
yeah, and then like obviously with Smith being destroyed and Neo being destroyed, whatever they did, the machines all collaborated to be like, all right, we're just gonna strip their code and end them, you know, whatever that is.
Strip their code, reprogram them, let them live in the fake world, as normal people.
Yeah, whatever that is.
We'll pill them up, pretty much.
Whatever that, however that happens, we end up with the Oracle and the architect and what's her name?
Sati.
The little girl, Sati. Yeah, I literally had it on. And Sati all getting together and talking, and Sati's like, do you think we'll see him again? And she's like, yeah, I think we will. And then the Oracle's actually not in the 4th. She's done. She got booted. And the architect's also not there either. It's some weird therapist dude named Barney.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Barney.
Sorry, I had to slide that in there.
He wasn't wearing a suit. He can't be Barney if he's not wearing a suit.
True. Okay. Well,
got to suit up to be Barney.
He's in sort of a suit.
Kinda a suit.
Yeah.
Not in one of Barney's suits, though.
Like yeah, you're right. Anyways, let's rate the 3rd. I think we already kind of know. 2. It's like watchable.
We already fine when I did the number 3.
Yeah.
Or did number 2.
Yeah. So, Resurrections. The Matrix
Yeah,
movie.
so fast forward 2003, couple of years passed by, you know?
All been waiting for. Yeah, it's 2021. Keanu Reeves gets to come back as Neo. We get to see Trinity again, and we get to see more. Are we gonna call that Morpheus or?
I mean, we have
It's
to.
a Morpheus.
Well, even the
slash
credits call
Smith.
it. Even the credits call him and Smithius.
Smithius. That's his name. Oh wow.
No, I mean in the credits it's Morpheus slash Smith.
Oh okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, technically, yeah. He's a dual, like whatever.
So he has
Keanu-
the like AI learned programming of Morpheus with the original
Code of
AI
Smith.
of Agent Smith.
Yep.
Or programming of Agent Smith.
Yeah. It's like a
So
combination.
he's Morpheus and Smith as one entity.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And you don't really see like any sort of conflicting nature between the two, and it's like it also doesn't feel like either of them at any specific point during the movie.
I mean, it kind of feels like Morpheus more than anything.
Yeah.
But it feels like a super confident, cocky Morpheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way they blended the characters, I guess, personally.
Yeah. It was kind of weird, like, you know.
The character, like the dude that played him, like did it great. It's
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah. He handled whatever he was given perfectly, I think. He actually did a really good job with all his lines. They were well said and well, you know, I just don't personally like the choice. I mean, I get that they can't have Morpheus. Like, he's not around anymore.
yeah.
He's still busy helping John Wick, that's why.
Yeah, he's not alive in this set of timeline, you know? He's passed away. Makari's old. And
I mean, he's not that old. You
so,
didn't see him in the last John Wick movie? He's not that old.
No. Makari, like the girl captain. Like,
no, Naomi, yeah.
Naomi, yeah.
Oh, her name's Naomi. Why am I thinking of
Naomi.
Makari?
I don't know.
Who's Makari?
Who the hell is that?
Naomi.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things to say about the movie, but I think my favorite thing about it is at the start when they're like, I mean, Warner Brothers told us that we were going to make it regardless if you are in or not.
Oh yeah.
So
that
like,
whole sequence is weird and feels like sort of like a.
I kind of loved it because like that just like put you in a mood where it's like, okay, so regardless of if this movie is shit or if it's good, it's because the directors. If it's shit, it's because Warner Brothers was like, well, like we're gonna make it, so you have to make it, or we're gonna make it without you.
I'm trying to think of like
so like they like it was just like I don't know if that was like real or not, but like they wrote that into the movie.
Oh yeah.
So they have that like built-in excuse in the movie of if the movie is bad,
flops,
it's because Warner Brothers made us make it.
It reminds me kind of like, it's not the same way, but like he's like phasing like in and out of the conversation. He's like not even there. Kind of reminds me.
Well, did you see the old man that he was possessing?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Like, old man gamer.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah, the flashes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's us in the future, guys.
Like,
oh no. Yeah, he's like this old man, but he's like kind of like, I don't know. It's sort of like these like, this is like a bit more of a personal reference, not like a movie reference. Like I've had dreams where like I like feel like I'm floating like a couple feet back from myself, like doing like little activities or whatever, or even like when I'm asleep, like I can see myself like it's like some like he's like kind of like in and out of it, but like also like he's like beginning to like form these like initial like, oh, this doesn't feel real sort of thing that he was like feeling when he was like reading the computer and seeing these other signs. And ultimately when he sees the white rabbit, even though he has no sort of like direct reference to like understand what that is, he's like, okay, yeah, no, I trust my gut on that because all these things have been happening. So I really like that. That is a good scene. So yeah, and also I really like who's the actor that plays Smith? like the new younger Smith.
Oh, the new Smith. He was pretty good. I can't. Yeah. I don't know who it is, but he played it pretty well.
Hate the lines given to him, but he killed it. He's great. When the rain comes down and they flash that scene, the flashback scene, and he just like snaps and he's like, Mr. Anderson, and you're like, oh damn, he kills it. He does great. But like then he has like that scene where like when he's in the office, he says like something like super like new age woke stuff, and you're like, what did you just say? Like, that's not Smith at all. But he also, like...
I think he knew he was playing a part at that time, though.
Really?
Okay. It's either Jonathan Groff or Hugo Weaving that played both the Smiths.
It was Groff.
Yeah.
Because Hugo Weaving was the original.
Yeah.
Groff is, like... What else is he in? He's in some really good stuff. Like, he's a phenomenal actor. I'm really glad they chose him.
Like... The scenes at the start of the movie when he's like telling him like we're gonna make the new Matrix things, like it's literally him playing the role that he's supposed to be given of like Neo's caretaker.
I don't necessarily think so.
Like it's not a Neo's like it's not, but it is. Like he's there to keep an eye on Neo. Like he wants to be there keeping an eye on Neo because he feels like it's that duality where like they can't be one without the other. A Voldemort Potter like situation, you know?
See, I think he wakes up from it in that rain scene. Like he remembers that.
I don't think so. I think he knows the whole time.
I don't think so. I think he remembers his end there. I mean, we can agree to disagree there, but like when that rain hits him and like that's the last memory he had before he was shut down, like he goes, he's like looking at the guy who has the same exact code and it just like all just hits him at once. And that's why he screams, Mr. Anderson. And you're like, there it is. That, at least for me, it gave me that vibe that like he just finally understood, like, wait a minute. They've been playing this. Because he's also said that, like, a little bit later when they're in the, I don't even know what to call it, the weird fight scene. It's not a bridge, but there's, like, the weird, like, platforms that they're standing on, like, when they're about to leave the Matrix. Like, in that scene right there, he comes up and he says, yeah, no, the what's the name of the analyst?
The analyst.
He goes, the analyst has had his little hands on us, or whatever he says. Something like that. Makes me feel like he just kind of...
I guess maybe the analyst just put him there then.
Yeah, the analyst probably put him there as well, and like had him, you know, doing the same thing, taking the blue pill, trying to make sure he doesn't know who he is, but ultimately catches up to him. Like, there's a reason why, at the end, Smith decides to take Neo's side against the analyst. And obviously, it's that same sort of duality thing.
Because he was going to kill the cat.
Pretty much.
Gosh dang it.
You can't kill the cat. If you're going to kill the cat, you're going to get killed yourself.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So,
deja vu.
Yep. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to see. Oh, I remember where Jonathan Groff is from. He's in Glee.
Yeah.
Who was he in Glee? He was
He was also in Frozen as well. And also Mind Runner.
Like the like jock guy?
Jonathan Groff? No, he was like I don't want to jump into the Glee fan base here, but basically
Too late, we're doing it.
Finn and Rachel are like the power couple from like the beginning. They're like the two like lead singers.
Sure who those are.
Then
I know the kid that's in the wheelchair, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, the two main characters are like in love or whatever. The one's like a football player, one's like a mega nerd, and like then like he has to join Glee Club for like whatever he did something bad, and he has to like do some sort of community activity or something like that, or he just like decides to sing because like the teacher convinces him. Whatever. They're in it. This dude pops up and tries to steal the girl. Because he's like this like hot shot singer going to like the school that she wants to go to, and he's like, I can get you into the school if you want me to, but like you have to leave your boyfriend and be with me, kind of stuff. So he's like, he has a phenomenal voice actually. I mean everybody on Glee did, but
yeah,
that's why
he also did Frozen. He did Frozen.
Yep.
both of them.
There was something else that I remember him being into, though.
Well, you guys have two movies that he's in that I don't really know much about. I've seen Frozen, and I blocked it out.
Okay, that's fair. He's
I never saw Frozen. I saw little bits of it, but yeah.
He's the voice of somebody in that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's voiced someone there, but yeah.
Probably Olaf. Right?
No. Olaf was I think Chris Rock or Chris Tucker, one of those guys that voiced him. It was one of those actors.
Yeah, he's in the live action Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's Prince or King George.
Yep.
Hamilton.
Okay, nice.
So he was Sven then in Frozen.
Sven.
Sven.
Nice. Yeah.
Sven. Sven.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to go on that tangent because I was like, I remember him from somewhere, dude. He plays the same sort of role as Smith in Glee, where he's like this manipulative dude who's like, oh, I'm gonna get what I want, kind of thing.
I mean, he plays that same role in Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we're all saying that he's the Smith.
He's the Smith.
He's a real life Smith.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I guess his best role is probably King George though. Because every song that King George is in is a surefire, bona fide hit.
Banger.
It is a banger.
Yeah.
Banger.
If you haven't watched Hamilton, watch Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Oh.
There you go. Ad for Hamilton. This whole episode has actually just been an ad for Hamilton.
Which is funny because it was on HBO Plus.
HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Go. HBO.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
HBO Max.
Yourself.
Premium.
Something. HBO something.
Oh goodness. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about who we think is the one and why. Actually, let's give Resurrections a rating.
Okay.
I don't think there's much to say about the film. You give it a 3, better than the third. Interesting.
Definitely better than the third.
Yeah.
Favorite moments for me personally for this movie is I wanted to give it a 4, but I'll be with you guys on. But I give it a 3 because I feel like there were still like a lot more things they could have done to this movie. Obviously, good storytelling. They pretty much explained, what the hell happened after all these years. They both pretty much just imprison or reprogram both Neo and Trinity into like implants and all that, which is really, really crazy. And it's like, oh wow, so that's what happened to them.
Pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty messed up.
They pretty much just had to blue pill them up and say, nope, this is your normal life now.
Yeah.
But favorite scenes, Sabebe. Any scene with Sabebe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Sabebe stole the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then probably my actual favorite scene is the pseudo, car chase scene. But after the protocol was set off, and people are just like waking up from like mid sleep to huck themselves out the windows.
Yeah.
And slap themselves on the freaking
on the pavement,
like on the pavement. Like that's just like
that's next.
I don't know. Like for me, like that is great.
Yeah, that's very
shows the
that's very crazy.
Importance.
That's something that I would make one of my like major villains in like one of my RPGs do.
Yeah,
like
also exemplifies like how powerful Neo and Trinity actually are. Like that he's willing to risk all of these actual lives in pods that create electricity because like it doesn't matter because if I get these two, I'm set. So. Yeah, I think that I give it a 3 as well, and if they choose to do more Matrix films, and depending on where it goes, like if they do a second trilogy, and they end it better, or I don't know what their plans are, but they have so much.
I feel like this is a pretty
now.
like standalone, like that's the end of this, because like
maybe.
Where do they go? Like, what's the conflict? Like,
saving all the humans and shutting down the Matrix.
I mean, I guess, like,
yeah.
But like, we saw it in like the other 3 Matrixes. anything that they're going to try to do is going to be in the Matrix. It's not going to be in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, so where's the conflict of like shutting down the Matrix inside the Matrix? Like,
it could, I don't know.
And plus, there's like really no really bad anti big guy hero at the end of this movie. You know, yes, of course the analyst is there, but you know,
like we finished the movie, like, you know, with the analyst being whipped.
Yeah.
And Trinity and Neo flying off.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing is
that pretty much means like so it's kind of like just like Agent Smith said, like that anybody can be the one.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like the non-programs.
Yep.
So like I think that's what they're doing with this video game that's coming out, is you can play as any character with the powers of the one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
So
it's exclusively on PS5 and Xbox X.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's no conflict unless
I agree.
Conflict is coming from other players.
Probably.
Like,
that's fair. I just think that I don't know. I think that if they chose to continue it, I would not be surprised, and that the main objective would be to shut down the Matrix.
I really don't even think they wanted to do this one. Like,
you mean Neo and Trinity?
No, just in general. Like, it just from what I've like I kind of believe the fact that they said like Warner Brothers was going to make this movie with or without us, like, kind of deal. Like, I really believe that.
Yeah, no, I do too.
So I don't even think they really wanted to even make this movie. And the fact that it's like somewhat of a good movie is like
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I don't see them. I don't see the Wazinski brothers, which was.
Yeah.
Is it Wazinski?
I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but you're close, I think.
I don't see them coming back for a number 5.
Well, they'll make it with or without him.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
I think they'll just say, whatever, man. If you're going to make a 5th one, that's on you. Like, we're not going to be a part of it.
Okay, that's fair. We'll see. I think that they could, but I don't know if they will.
Like, I think what they're trying to do is build this video game.
Yeah, I think
It
also
have to be like a GTA like 5 real world experience. You play as the one video game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I think that's what they're going to try to do, and that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be basically Second Life, but in the Matrix.
In the Matrix.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah,
and I think that's where they're going to put all of their Matrix money into. They're not going to make another movie. They're just going to keep doing this video game or making more of this video game.
Okay. Okay.
Until we jack ourselves out of the Matrix.
Pretty much.
We're in the Matrix?
I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know I am.
Anyways. Oh God, man.
Oh boy. Wait, everyone quick, everyone check their medication, see if it's blue or red.
Mine are blue. They're called Aleve.
Everything in my room right here is red in front of me. If they do end it, like you say, it also gives Neo and Trinity a happy ending, which is a good thing.
Pretty much.
And it fixes the mistake that they made with the third. So
yes,
if that's the case and they end it there, I'm kind of fine with it. I would even give this a 4 if that's where they end it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 3
just for
though.
The happy ending.
Yeah, just for the happy ending. Literally, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, they finally got what they deserved. Like that's what they deserve. But because I think it's open ended still, I'm gonna have to give it a 3 because I don't know if or where they're gonna go anywhere with it.
True.
But that's just me.
Like I really feel if they're gonna do anything, it's gonna be PvP.
PvP.
Like maybe
Open world.
jacks herself in and turns into the one and kills Neo in the Matrix.
Oh my god. I would never kill Neo. He's a legend.
I mean, so is she.
True.
Yeah, she is, but she doesn't have like high standards.
Even more so than Neo, because she survived.
She did.
Believed.
And she's making strawberries.
Wow, there you go. Yep, can't beat that.
Damn. Okay. Shit.
On IO.
On IO. All right.
Robots.
Well, that's pretty much all we have to cover. We gave rankings for all 4 of the Matrix films. And
overall,
why?
The Matrix is a
pretty good series.
Good movie.
I think
quadrilogy.
A quad. Quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy.
I like it. I like it better than the trilogy because we get a happy ending.
Yep.
Evan's all about them happy endings, especially when he gets a massage.
I love.
Exactly.
Who told you about that?
We know.
Oh God. Anyways, I think that's where we're going to end it. Thank you very much for listening and watching. We have a couple other projects planned. We're going back on our How Bad Was It series for the Marvel Cinematic Universe very shortly, probably starting next week. We'll review Captain America, the First Avenger. And then we're also going to be watching The Witcher Season 2. That's kind of all we have planned at the moment. We'll see.
Potentially.
Oh, I was going to talk to you guys about that because that just came out. That might be.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah. So we'll see if that comes out here soon. If from us, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Before then,
yep.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Yep. Take your blue pills.
Don't tell them that.